African gray parrot. The African gray parrot is native to Western and Central Africa, in countries such as Uganda, Gabon, Ghana, Ivory Coast, and Cameroon. It's also found on the island of Principe. The bird is most often found in moist forests of the lowlands, though they can also be found as high up as 7,218 feet. Gray parrots are also seen in gardens, yards, savannas, mangrove forests, and forest clearings. They like to live close to the water and may be happiest in trees found on islands and rivers. African gray parrot nests. African gray parrots nest in tree cavities. Some of these cavities were once home to other birds, and if the hole is a bit too small, the parrot will use its powerful beak to enlarge it. Each parrot pair has its tree. Pet parrots use a nesting box that's installed in the high area of their enclosure. This mimics, somewhat, the height of a tree. The appearance of the African gray parrot is unmistakable. It is medium-sized for a parrot, and the colors of its feathers are mostly shades of gray, though it has a startling red tail. Some of the feathers have a white edge that makes the bird's plumage especially elegant. The colors of adults and juveniles are a bit different. Adult birds have yellow irises, while the irises of chicks are dark, and their tails are grayer. The parrot grows to around 13 inches long, has an 18 to 20.5 inch wingspan, and weighs between 14.75 and 18.5 ounces. Behavior. African gray parrots are very gregarious birds, which is why they are rather high-maintenance pets. Their intelligence demands mental stimulation, either from their owner, ideally, another gray parrot, or two. Though they are difficult to study in the wild, even wild birds are excellent mimics of other birds. Though each parrot family has its tree to nest in, they congregate in huge flocks to roost in trees. Unlike other parrots, their flocks do not contain other species of parrots. They are quiet during the night, then at dawn, they use vocalizations to warn of danger, beg for food, and identify each other. It might sound like a lot of screaming to humans, but the vocalizations are complex and have to be learned by juveniles. Because they need to learn a great deal about how to be a gray parrot, juveniles can stay with their families for years. During these years, gray parrots need to learn how to find food and water, how to defend their territory, and how to identify potential predators and avoid them. They also need to learn how to establish and defend their nesting sites and raise chicks. This leads to gray parrots becoming quite aggressive with each other when it comes to finding nest holes. On the other hand, gray parrots can be altruistic and share food with other gray parrots. Scientists believe that the African gray parrot is not just one of nature's most intelligent birds, but one of nature's most intelligent animals. They have insight, can perform complex tasks, understand musical theory to some extent, and solve complex problems. A famous gray talking parrot named Alex could categorize, ask for, identify, and refuse dozens of objects. He not only mimicked human speech but clearly understood it. He died in 2007 at age only 31, of an apparent heart attack. African gray parrot migration pattern and timing. African gray parrots don't exactly migrate, though during the dry season they move in flocks from the driest areas to places where there's more water and food. These parrots are herbivores and eat mostly fruit and nuts. They'll also eat leaves and bark and will take snails and insects now and then. They're partial to the fruit of the oil palm. African gray parrots mostly forage on the ground, and flocks of birds do this with care and foresight. First, they'll gather in a tree, and they'll descend to the ground in waves to find food. This keeps all the birds from being on the ground, and thus subject to terrestrial predators, at the same time. The parrots also ingest soil, which absorbs some of the toxins in their food. If they do eat in a tree, the parrot climbs, not flies, from branch to branch. Pet parrot maintenance includes a well-balanced diet made up of some seeds, some nuts, fruits, and vegetables, including leafy greens. Parrots shouldn't be fed avocados because they are toxic and must always have fresh water available. Ideally, pellets formulated for African gray parrots should be the major part of their diet. This talking parrot finds safety in numbers in the wild, but it does have predators and threats. The worst of these predators is humans. Humans destroy the bird's habitat, hunt them for traditional medicine and food, and collect them for the pet trade, even though most birds die before they find a loving home. One major natural predator of the parrot is the palm nut vulture, a small old-world vulture with striking black and white plumage. It is one of the few birds of prey that take gray parrots. Monkeys also steal parrot eggs and chicks, as do tree-climbing snakes. One way that parrots deter predators is to go silent when they see one, then all of a sudden erupt from the trees, screaming. This is sometimes enough to spook a predator. Besides predators, parrots are subject to a variety of diseases, including blood parasites and tapeworms. Young parrots can succumb to a virus that causes Psittacidae beak and feather disease. In captivity, parrots can be stricken with infections and cancers. Obesity and malnutrition are also risks if the parrot doesn't receive excellent care. The reproductive strategies of the gray parrot haven't been studied extensively, but scientists do know that they mate for life after a courtship dance where they both droop their wings. The birds breed 1 or 2 times a year. The female lays from 3 to 5 eggs in the tree cavity and incubates them while the male feeds her from the outside. The eggs, which are laid at 2 to 5 day intervals, hatch after 30 days. Both parents take care of the babies, who are born blind and helpless. African gray parrot chicks take a long time to reach independence for a bird, even though they fledge when they're about 12 weeks old. It can be 3 years before they have learned enough to be independent and another 2 years before they are reproductively mature. The lifespan of a wild parrot is about 23 years on average, while they can live 60 years or more in captivity. Population. The population of African gray parrots is estimated to be between 630,000 to 13 million, but the bird is under pressure because of habitat destruction and collection for the pet trade.